So way back in the 1970s, a resounding percentage of street hockey goalies wanted to be him. I know because I was one of them. On the frozen ponds, the icy streets, or the asphalt ball hockey courts across Canada, his name was called out by amateur Danny Gallavins or Foster Hewitts everywhere as scintillating saves were made off cannonading drives. Why did so many kids emulate this goalie? Because he was exciting, he was an entertainer, and most of all, he was one of the very best. Teammates, opponents, and all of those street hockey dreamers would agree that Rogie Vachon was one of the greatest goalies of the post-expansion era and is a rightful inductee tonight into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
As a rookie for the Montreal Canadiens, Rogie Vachon helped lead the Habs all the way to the 1967 Stanley Cup Final, where they would face the Toronto Maple Leafs and their head coach Punch Imlach. Before the series started, Imlach famously called Vachon a Junior B goalie, who would be no match for the high-powered Leafs. After a Game 1 victory in which Rogie led the Habs to a 6-2 win, Imlach would respond, "Vachon's still Junior B, but he's the best Junior B in the country." Though Montreal would lose the cup that year, Rogie Vachon would go on to win 3 Stanley Cups with the Canadiens, as well as the Vezina Trophy in 1968. He was traded to the Los Angeles Kings in 1971 and solidified his position as one of the best goalies in the NHL.
In for Savard, he's in. And Vachon robbed them.
He backstopped the Kings to 4 playoff appearances in 7 seasons. Vachon retired as the Kings' franchise leader in games played, victories, and shutouts. His number 30 was the first ever retired by the organization. It took a while for the rest of the hockey world to notice Vachon's solid play, but in the first ever Canada Cup in 1976, he was named the starting goalkeeper for the star-studded Team Canada. Vachon did not disappoint. He started 7 games, going 6-1 with 2 shutouts and a 1.39 goals against average. Canada won the tournament, and Vachon was named best goalkeeper as well as the team's most valuable player.
I don't think they ever put a team together like we had at that time. That was just, the names were just unbelievable, and I was just really proud to be part of it.
Every NHLer will tell you their welcome to the NHL moment. For Rogie Vachon, that moment was the first shot he ever faced in the NHL. He was burdened with the simple task of stopping the late, great Gordie Howe on a breakaway. Vachon used an unorthodox approach to going head-to-head with Mr. Hockey, saying later, "I don't know if I closed my eyes when he shot, but I stopped him, and that probably kept me in the league for 16 years. Vachon won 355 games in the NHL. Time and time again throughout his career, he proved he belonged. He was a battler whose acrobatic style inspired the likes of Patrick Roy. Rogie Vachon has come a long way from Junior B goaltender to deserving honored member of the Hockey Hall of Fame.
To present to Rogie Vachon, 1992 honored member Marcel Dion.
Thank you, Marcel. You have been a wonderful friend and a teammate to me. This is very special to have you here tonight. I want to thank the committee for this great honor. And I also want to congratulate Eric, Sergey, and Pat. Well deserved. Thanks to Kelly Massey for an incredible job putting this weekend together. Now I need to take you back when I was 14 years old in Palmaral, because I believe my hockey career really started at that point. So the Palmarejo Braves were a senior team playing against villages in the region. So they couldn't find a goalie crazy enough to play goal outdoor at 10 below zero. So one day, the coach, Mr. LaRouche, came at the house on the farm and tried to convince my mother and father to let me play for them, which they did. Thank Mom and Dad and Coach LaRouche. If not for that event, I would not be here tonight. Now, the only problem is when you're a 14-year-old playing with a senior hockey team, is that after the game, these players are thirsty and they want to stop at the bar for a drink or two. So in the meantime, I had to sit in the freezing car, sometimes for a couple hours. So after my junior years, I signed a contract for Montreal Canadiens. Well, are you kidding me? I had a chance to play with Jean Béliveau, Henry Richard, Yvan Cournoyer, Jacques Lemaire, Frank Mahovlich, and the legend coaching Toe Blake and Scotty Bowman. What a dream. Now, I didn't get rich on my first contract. I signed a 2-way contract with Montreal with a minimum salary in the NHL and $4,000 to play in the minors. And I was fortunate enough to receive a $600 bonus. Not like these days. You know what? I was the happiest goalie in the world. So after 5 years and winning 3 cups with Montreal Canadiens, I was lucky to land in Los Angeles with the Los Angeles Kings. I had 7 wonderful years playing with the Kings. And then I had time to move on to Detroit and then retired playing with the Boston Bruins. All great organization. So after I retired, I came back to Los Angeles and I worked for the organization for 20 years. I went from goalie coach, GM for 8 years, interim coach 3 times, assistant to the chairman, assistant to the president, and then I finished as ambassador for the team. So I actually worked for the 5 ownership of the franchise. Jack and Cook, Jerry Buss, Bruce McNall, Joe Cohen, and Phil Henshaw. What a classy operation they have. Thank you so much, Kings. Well, I didn't get here by myself. I had a lot of help from my family. So I want to thank my mom and dad and my brothers and sisters for an incredible support over the years. So, Bibiane, Anicette, Gérald, Jocelyne, Carmen, Michel, and Danielle. Thank you so much, guys. Now I have my kids and grandkids here tonight. So I have my son, Nicholas, with his wife, Renee, and my grandkids, Calvin and Chloe, my daughter, Jade, and her husband, Brian, and Marie-Joie, and my granddaughter, Isabelle. So thank you for coming for this nice together, for tonight. It's going to be tough. Without honoring, I cannot finish without honoring a very special woman. There's somebody very, very dear missing. I just lost my wife, Nicole. I wish you're going to be here. You know, sometimes it's not fair. She should be here, and it's not going to happen. She was a wonderful woman. We spent 45 years together. Yeah, it's tough. I wish you'd be here. I love you, gal. I'll see you on the other side. Thank you for this incredible honor. Good night.